The primary use of the MC195T timer controller is to control circulation functions on Rinnai Tankless Water Heaters equipped with CircLogic programming. This controller can be used with the Rinnai Luxury and Ultra Series water heaters that are using the built-in CircLogic to control a circulation pump. The MC195T is optional on the Luxury Series models and the RU and RUC Ultra Series, but is standard equipment on the RUR Ultra Series models. The first thing we'd like to do is familiarize you with the various buttons and icons on the MC195T controller. We have the on-off button. Press to power the water heater on or off. This button will also be used in combination with other buttons to access fault code history and maintenance monitor functions. Operation lamp. This LED lamp will be illuminated when the water heater is turned on. The lock button locks the controller to prevent inadvertent or unauthorized operation. No changes or adjustments can be made when the controller is locked, and the controller display will alternate between LOC and the temperature setting. The lock icon. The key symbol will be visible when the controller is locked. Function button. Used to access various controller functions. The function button is used to set the clock, adjust circulation timers, and access several auxiliary controller functions. Water temperature buttons. Used to change the water heater's set temperature. Also used when setting the clock, adjusting timers, and making changes to other function settings. Temperature display. Displays the water heater's set temperature. The set temperature can be displayed in Fahrenheit or Celsius. Priority button. Used to switch control priority between multiple controllers. In order to change temperature settings, the controller you wish to use must have priority. You cannot switch priority from one controller to another if the water heater is in use. Priority icon. When multiple controllers are connected, only the controller showing the priority icon or priority lamp can change the temperature. Standard MC91-2 controllers have a priority lamp rather than a symbol. Also, only one each of the MC195T timer controller can be connected to a single water heater. Clock display. Shows the current time. The clock must be set in order to use the circulation timers. Timer button. Used to turn the timer functions on or off. This button is also used to switch between Timer 1 and Timer 2. Timer 1 and 2 icons. Indicates which timer is in operation. When setting timers, these indicate which timer is being set. Circulation on-off icon. Indicates if circulation is on or off when timer functions are in use. The on-off icon will be displayed for either Timer 1 or Timer 2. Timer setting icon. Displays the times programmed for timer operation. Each block represents 1 hour. Blocks that are lit indicate active circulation on periods. Circulation icon. When the water heater is in active circulation period, this symbol will be lit. This symbol does not necessarily mean the circulation pump is operating. This symbol will be shown at all times during active circulation periods, even during pump off cycles. Override select button. Used to override circulation timer functions. It is also used to turn circulation on or off manually when no timers are set, and select or deselect hours of timer operation when setting timers. Combustion icon. Indicates when the burners are lit. This is the equivalent of the in-use lamp on the standard MC91-2 controller. Before you physically install the MC195T controller, you must first determine where it will be installed, as well as plan for running the thermostat wire from the unit to the controller, especially if you're installing it in some other part of the structure where you don't want the wire to be visible. A minimum 22 gauge, 2 conductor, non-polarized cable is required, but 18 gauge thermostat wire is commonly used. When you open the package, you will find the controller with a connected short length of wire, a mounting bracket, and hardware. Holding the controller in the upright position, slide the mounting bracket down to release it and remove it from the controller. The bracket will need to be mounted to the wall first. Measure the appropriate length of thermostat wire and connect to the existing controller wires, then route and connect the thermostat wire to the terminals for controls on the water heater's computer control board. Now that you have installed the controller, let's set the clock. Apply power to the water heater, but don't turn on the controller. You should see this screen. To set the clock, press the function button once. 12 o'clock will appear and begin to blink. Use the up and down arrows to set the minutes. Hold the button to scan in 10-minute increments. Pay close attention to setting either AM or PM. Once you have the correct time displayed, press the function button once more to lock in the time. If you need to readjust the time, for example due to a loss of power or daylight saving time, turn the controller off and press the function button once. The time display will flash. Press the up or down arrows to your desired time as previously described. Then press the function button again to lock the time. To adjust the set temperature, first ensure the controller is turned on and the priority icon is displayed. Then press the up or down buttons to your desired temperature. Changes will occur in 2-degree increments from 98 degrees to 110 degrees. After that, the temperature will change in 5-degree increments. Also note that if the combustion icon is displayed, meaning the unit is in use, no temperature changes can be made above 110 degrees. This is a safety measure to ensure that someone does not get scalded accidentally. For example, at 120 degrees, it would take approximately 8 minutes to get a first-degree burn. At 140 degrees, it only takes 3 seconds. To use the circulation function with the timers, first ensure the controller is on and the clock is set for the correct time of day. If the clock is not set, you cannot access the timer functions. Next, press the timer button and timer 1 will be displayed. There will be presets already programmed into the controller. The times that are programmed will be filled in white. Each white section represents 1 hour. When the time of day is within the range that is programmed, the circulation function will start automatically. During circulation on time periods, the white boxes, circulation will control pump operation and the circulation icon will be displayed on the controller. It is now 3:03 on the clock, which means that we are between active timer periods and the circulation icon is not displayed. When the programmed time period comes to an end, the circulation function will stop and the circulation icon will no longer be displayed. Press the timer button once again and timer 2 will be displayed. Note that for timer 2, we are within the programmed timer period and the circulation icon is displayed. 3:03 in the afternoon, we are within the timer period and the circulation icon is visible. This circulation icon means that you are in an active circulation period, but does not necessarily mean that the circulation pump is running. The CircLogic programming on the water heater's main circuit board will cycle the pump on and off as needed. Press the timer button once more to exit the timer function. The bottom half of the display will go blank, indicating no timers are active, and the circulation function will not operate. However, the water heater will operate normally when there is a call for hot water. To change timer settings, press the timer button to display either timer 1 or timer 2 as desired. For our example, we will use timer 1. Press the function button. The current hour and timer 1 icon will flash. If the flashing grid is within a current programmed range, on will be displayed under the timer 1 icon. If the flashing grid is outside the programmed range, off will be displayed. Use the up and down buttons to move the grid to the desired hour you want to activate or deactivate. When you've selected the desired hour, press the Override Select button. If the grid you selected was outside of a current programmed time period, meaning the grid is not lit up, that grid will be selected and circulation will operate during that hour of the day. If the grid you selected was within a current programmed time period, that grid will be deselected and circulation will not operate during that hour of the day. To select or deselect another hour, use the up or down buttons to move the grid and repeat the process with the override select button. When you have finished setting the timers, press the function button to exit the timer setting function. We've discussed setting the timers for circulation. Now let's discuss using the override function with the timers. Currently, timer 1 is set up with 2 active timer periods, one in the morning and one in the evening. If you press the override button between timer periods, circulation will turn on until the end of the next timer period. Currently, our clock is set for 1:30 in the afternoon. If I press override, circulation operation will begin during the current hour and will remain on until the end of the next timer, which in this case is 11 p.m. If you press the override during an active timer period, circulation will then turn off until the beginning of the next timer period. We will use timer 2 for this example. Timer 2 is set from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and our clock is set at 1:31 in the afternoon. In this case, if I press override, circulation will then turn off until 8 a.m. the next morning. The override function will be effective only one time. The next timer function resets the override. You can return to normal timer operation by pressing the override button again. You can also use the circulation function without a timer. With no timer set, pressing the override button will turn circulation on. Circulation will then operate for 2 hours or until you press the button again. The circulation icon indicates that circulation is active. During this time, the pump will cycle on and off based on the mode of operation and the dip switch settings for economy or comfort. The lock function is used as a safeguard against children or otherwise inappropriate operation. To engage the lock, press and hold the lock button for 3 seconds until it beeps. To unlock, press and hold again for 3 seconds until it beeps. With the controller turned on, but with the timers turned off, press the function button until the number 4 is displayed. Now press the down button, changing the mode from 1 to 2. Number 1 designates Fahrenheit and number 2 represents Celsius. Press the function button again to lock your selection and go to the main display. If more than one controller is installed on a single tankless water heater, it's important to differentiate which controller has functional priority. Only the controller with priority can make temperature changes, timer changes, etc. In order to take priority for one controller over another, simply press the priority button. Note that this can only happen when the water heater is not in use. With the controller turned on, but with the timers turned off, press the function button until the number 2 is displayed. Now press the down button, changing the mode from on to off. Press the function button again to lock your selection and no beep will be heard. Keep pressing the function button to cycle to the main display. To reactivate the beep, repeat the process.